Hello, and today I'll show you how to create a airfield inside Houdini. Most of moving objects create disturbance in air, so I'm going to show you how to simulate that. So I'll show you a I'll walk you through the setup here. So I'm just creating a grid, scattering some points, then creating a rubber toy, moving it to or match sizing it based on the Y minimum, then giving it some animation, trailing, so I get the velocity, and just creating some pyro sources here. Then I'm rasterizing the density and temperature and running it through a pyro solver. So this is the result, and I'll show you the settings inside the pyro solver. So it doesn't necessarily matter what values you're going to use inside your pyro solver, but of course the result determines or the look of your air disturbance is going to be determined by your pyro solver. But of course, the settings you're going to apply here are uh, based off your taste. So I'm going to set the ground plane to be close below in the Y. I don't need burn. I'm going to set the velocity to pull and set all of them to 2 because I felt like I needed more velocity. Then in the dissipation, I set it to 0.25. Um, at best, you should keep this as low as possible, but of course, the lower you keep it, the slower your simulation goes. So at a certain value, I think you should set the dissipation, so you optimize the sim a bit, but realistically in real life you have no dissipation in the air disturbance. I turned off the buoyancy, of course you can turn also the buoyancy and wind. The disturbance I set to 1, turbulence to 0.35, and the swirl size to 2.5. Of course, again, you can set up the settings however you like. This is just a quick example, so of course you can get better results. Here, so in this case, you only need the velocity. You don't need density, but I'll also export density so we see the result. And here, as you can see, getting all the, sorry, let me simulate for frames, like so. So we're getting the density and velocity as a native volume, or Houdini native volumes. So I'm converting them here to a VDP, combining my velocity volumes, so I get a vector volume, and converting them to 16-bit float. By the way, here the voxel size, you can keep the voxel size a bit higher because you don't need such precision in velocity most of the time. You won't even notice the difference. So I'm going to save this to disk and I'll see you when that's finished. Okay, so here's the result. Uh, you can see that we have just a basic pyro simulation. Here I'm blasting my velocity, and we can also visualize the velocities here. So I felt like I didn't have enough of upward velocities or the velocities in the y or y-axis, so I'm multiplying them 1.5. Just a artistic choice in this case. And then I'm running my scattered points here for a pop network where I'm using the first, I'm sourcing all the points, and this impulse activation is only set to first frame, as you can see. And the expression here means that I'm taking the frame, or the number of frame, or the frame number, yeah, and I'm saying if it's equal to my channel float, which is referring to a start frame, and here in my DOP network here, this one, it's going to equal to 1, so it's going to just source at the first frame. Then what I want to use is add vect by volumes, yeah, here, vect by volumes, and I want to set this to second geometry input because I'm plugging my velocity volume inside the second geometry input. Here you specify the volume you're trying to, or you're going to advect your particles with, and you can also set up different types of advection. And inside here, I'm going to set this to trace. By the way, single step is least expensive on calculations, so it's going to be the fastest, but trace is more accurate. So I'm going to use trace in this case, and then I'm just placing a ground plane. After that, I'm importing my field here, my particles, and then I'm caching it to disk. So I'll cache this to disk, and I'll see you when this is done. Here's the result, and as you can see, we have a simulation. I'm running it through a attribute VOP where I'm taking the velocity length, fitting it from 0 to 1, and then running it through a ramp and plugging it into a CD. So this is the result here. I think the motion and everything looks pretty fine. And then I'm just merging it with my rubber toy. So yeah, I hope you find this helpful. Of course, you can adjust anything in this setup. This setup is just to show the idea of using pyro simulations for creating airfields, and this could be used in various different situations. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again. Bye.